of the term, is an optimist is someone who takes the stance that there is a pathway forward that could be good, and to push for that pathway to open up and to sort of, to go down it. And that fundamental belief, which requires a shift from being a spectator to being an agent, is important. It's, Craig Ventnor said at one of the TEDs in Oxford, he didn't know whether the optimistic or pessimistic view of the future was the correct one, but what he did know was that it's the optimistic get things done. I choose the optimistic stance, and then try and ask, well, what could I actually do to contribute to that in some way?
Well, I want to talk a little bit more about what you are doing to contribute to that. I wanted to ask you, just looking back over your whole tenure, which is obviously your role at TED is continuing. You're just stepping down as the host of the show. Thinking about surprising things and unanticipated consequences, if Chris from 2002 is suddenly brought forward to 2022, what would you be most surprised at in terms of what TED ultimately became? Like, what would be the most kind of shocking development given your vision of what it was going to be back then?
I mean, in 2002, TED was an annual conference in California, and it was an inspiring conference. I mean, the reason I bought it with a non-profit was because incredible people told me that this was their most meaningful week of the year. It's something that people whose only experience in TED is TED Talks don't necessarily see, which is you're in one place for several days and see a sequence of them. The power of that experience is very different from watching a single talk. Like, it really can transformative over that period of time. At any rate, it was an annual conference, and I when I first took it over with a non-profit, the idea was simply to think, what could be done with the inspiration that happens at the end of 4 days from this group of people? Like, people would have the most amazing time, then they'd go away and nothing happened. And so some of the early ideas were just to do things like apply all the profits from the conference to, a couple of good causes or whatever. A year after that, we came up with the TED Prize, which invited people to come to TED and gave them a wish. Actually, 3 wishes initially, which was too many. And we would seek to make those wishes come true. It wasn't so the biggest single piece of actually letting the ideas that were there out into the world, we couldn't crack in 2002 or 2003 or 2004. We tried to get TED onto television because we thought it was interesting, but television companies didn't think